Are you sick and tired of gambling your hard-earned money on Madden packs? Look no further than my sponsor, MMOEXP, for the cheapest and most reliable MUT coins on the market. And don't forget to use code Ferdy at checkout for 5% off. What's going on, guys? Today we got another tier list. Today we're talking cornerbacks. Yesterday we talked wide receivers. Now we're talking the guys that got to try to guard those guys. Before we get started, of course, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. 63% of people who watch the videos, most likely you right now, are not subscribed to the channel. So head down there, hit the subscribe button, turn those notifications, hit the like button. And of course, I will be live tonight over on Twitch. Link in the description, 8 p.m., 8:30-ish Eastern time. I don't like giving a perfect time. So 8:30 to 8 o'clock, somewhere in that range. I'll be going live on Twitch. Come through. Let's get started. So if you are new to the tier list videos, new to the channel, we do rank the cards from left to right inside of each tier. And the names that you already see are names that have already been on the tier list in previous episodes. There are some new names. I believe we got some newer names, maybe down here. Like, I guess it's like a Dory Jackson would be considered a new name. Deron Bland's a new name. Christian Benford's somewhere on here. Not sure where. There he is right there. There's Benford. We have a couple new names, but we're going to be talking a lot of the new names in today's video. Okay, let's talk about a free card that will become available once you hit level 50 in this season's field pass. So this card right here is actually kind of slept on. I mean, pretty good stats. Like, the stats are good, but where this card to me takes that next step is with his abilities. You guys see it right here. He gets deep out zone KO for 0 AP and pick artist for 1, which I guess is I guess it's the same as having deep out zone for 1 and pick artist for 0. Like, it's the same thing technically. You know what I'm saying? But flat zone, I guess it's kind of the same thing. But if you just are going to run deep out zone, he's the only guy in the game that gets that. And I think just that alone, what did I just do? Did I just like swap them? Okay, let's put that back. But I think that deserves to put Patrick Peterson into S tier, as, you know, the stats are good enough. And then, you know, to be an S tier guy, you got to be a little different. And I think it'll end up putting Patrick Peterson pretty low in S tier, but still 0 AP deep out. Yes, again, it's the same thing as having 1 AP deep out with 0 AP pick artist, but just even having the option to run free deep out makes this card S tier with good stats, and he's 6'1". And next up, we got the all 32 team chem Chidobe Awuzue. I've said his name right a couple times. I know I have. Chidobe Awuzue. I like this guy though. He's a good player. 6 foot. He gets all 32 team chems, including 2x Titans chems. But 96 speed, 98 acceleration, can play man, can play zone. Press under 90, a little concerning, but even a decent tackler as well at the cornerback position. If we head down here, there's the price for that's 426, and here are the abilities. He does get a deep out zone for 2 and then pick artist for 0. So obviously on cornerbacks, you'd rather have a deep out zone than deep in. In a lot more schemes, a lot more popular schemes, people are running deep out zone compared to deep in. Usually that's for your safeties and things like that. That's at least how I run it. But, you know, pick artist is good to have for free, and then even medium routes is decent if you play man-to-man. So there's some decent versatility in this card. Me personally, I would probably throw Chidobe to probably down here somewhere. Like, I would probably still go. I mean, the only problem with the Randy Moss card is how much his abilities cost. They're not up to par. If Randy Moss's abilities kind of updated with the meta, he would probably still be like high A tier just because of his speed 95. I mean, that's like the only real difference between Chidobe and Randy, to be honest. Like, Randy Moss is, I mean, and honestly, I do rank these cards without considering them on a theme team. So obviously 98 speed, Chidobe's probably a lot better than Randy, but we also got to consider Randy Moss on a theme team as well, where he's 6'4" with +2 speed. I mean, his abilities aren't bad. The only thing is, you know, it could be better, right? I mean, the lurk artist is okay. But obviously, the unstoppable deep KO is the one that we love on this card. Because if it lights up, it's on for the rest of the game and you're set for a while. So, and then once that happens, you have deep zone KO for the rest of the game. But obviously, there's easier ways now to light that stuff up. So, yeah, I would probably put Chidobe in front of him just because Randy Moss, his abilities are simply outdated. That's the main thing. And unfortunately, Madden 24, again, is a game of abilities and X factors. Next up, we got the free all 32 team chem Kendall Fuller. So, potentially, you can easily get this man up to 99 speed on your theme team. 95 man, 97 zone, 95 press. Really good stats on this card for 5'11" as well, which is not a bad height for a cornerback, and gets decent versatility. I would say it's decent. Like, I like getting pick artist If you're playing zone, you can play him in the slot and kind of use flat zone. But for you man-to-man guys out there, there isn't many of them. I mean, pick artist with your choice of whatever route KO you want for 1 AP. That is really, really valuable. That is really, really good. So with that being said, I like all 32 team chems. Is he better than Night Train? No. Is he better than Herb? No. Is he better than Ward? I don't think so. But I would feel comfortable putting him kind of with Devontae. Like, Devontae gets really good abilities with him being a Genki Force card. Devontae's stats aren't like crazy, but it's the abilities on the card. And again, Madden 24 is a game of abilities and X factors. So Devontae might get that upper hand, but Kendall Fuller, if you play man-to-man, just having that option of any 1 AP, route KO is really valuable. And you have all 32 team chems, and you have free pick artist, and he's got good stats to back it up. And 5'11 is not a bad height either. So Kendall Fuller, I'm gonna leave him right there at high-ish A tier. He's a really good card. Sticking with our free all 32 team chem cornerbacks, we now have Nate Wiggins. I do think Nate Wiggins is worse than Kendall Fuller. I will say that right now. But Kendall Fuller's grind is long and strenuous. Nate Wiggins has like a 5-minute grind, and he's yours. So and just even having that option to build whatever team you want, and then you have 2 good free corners that you can go get right now is really nice. So I mean, I'm happy EA's kind of turning the corner, giving us some budget guys, but it's about time, you know what I mean? So if you are going to be playing zone with this card, definitely get him up over 90 zone coverage. But most likely, if you're playing zone, you already have zone strat cards in some way, and you want to make sure you're getting him over 90. On my team, I had Nate Wiggins at 98 man coverage. Yeah, 98 man coverage on Nate Wiggins. We head down here, no X factors, and he's a man-to-man guy. So playing zone, just run pick artist. But if you're not, short route for one's not bad, and medium route for 2 is not awful either. But yeah, definitely more of a man-to-man guy. But if you chem him up and put him in the right positions, he can definitely play some zone coverage. So I'm gonna put him I'll put him behind 98 speed. Very tough to deny. I'll put him behind Randy, but I do think he's A tier. I do think he's a lowish A tier card. If the abilities were better, he might be up a little higher, because those stats are like, his physicals are S tier, but unfortunately he falls apart with zone under 90 and just not really the best abilities that we've seen so far this year. And next up, we got Levi Sneed. 6 foot, 97 speed, 95 acceleration. Can play man, can play zone, but it's Legarius. He's more of a man-to-man guy, so you're going to see a lot of man-to-man abilities, and that's actually all you're going to see. I do like, for man-to-man pick artist with, 1 AP short routes, nice, you know what I mean? But to me, he's not like special in any way, you know what I mean? Like, if he had like a deep out zone, he might make S tier, but to me personally, yeah, the stats are solid, yeah, it's all solid on him, but I think he really does kind of belong in this kind of range. Levi Sneed, I mean, he's a good card if you're playing man-to-man. He can definitely play, but unfortunately there are just better options. Like even like the inside shade for 3 AP is crazy. But so you probably would go, I mean, medium route and short route for 1 isn't bad. But like pick hard, you know what I mean? Like, he's not crazy, and definitely not the best team of the year quarterback in my opinion. Nowhere near it, really. And here's an example of just what abilities can do for a card. I think, in my opinion, I mean, depends on your scheme, I think Trayvon Diggs just has better stats than Levi Sneed. They're very similar cards. Like, very similar. They even... And the one thing that makes no sense about this card is he's a zone archetype, but gets not a lick of a zone ability. It makes no sense. I don't know why. Wait, this card's a veteran? Oh, he's a heavyweight? Wait. Okay, I'm not even going to look into that. Either way, inside shade for 2 AP is nice if you want to run it. Do I think it's worth it? If it's a little cheaper, yeah, I would go for it. You know what I mean? If it's like an X Factor, sure. But I think deep route pick artist is really valuable, and I also think deep route short route is really, really good for man-to-man. So just being able to kind of do that. I don't love medium route. I feel like it's just too like question marky. I feel like short route, it's short routes. Deep routes, it's down the field. You know what I mean? Like, those gauges are a little more, it's easier to feel out, you know what I mean, when you kind of know you're going to get a KO, things like that. So, Trayvon Diggs is just an example of a card where the abilities, like, statistically, he's quite similar to Levi Sneed, but because he's got these good zones, or good stats and good abilities, good, like, kind of a good pairing, I think Trayvon Diggs ends up right behind Mel Blount and in front of Patrick Peterson. I think he's a very, very good and top-end man-to-man option in the game right now. Also 6'1". The next man up is Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. 97 speed, 96 acceleration, 97 man, 95 zone. And I do feel like right now we're getting a lot of good man-to-man corners, like a lot of them. So I know people that run zone aren't happy about these cards, but they're still good. They're still gonna be up on this tier list either way. But this card at least does get a mid zone, so if you want to play him in the slot or whatever, you can try to do that. If you're playing zone, pick artist and mid zone. And again, he's gonna get that pick artist deep route KO combo. So DRC, 6'2", a little better height, 97 speed, quite similar to the last man that we just talked about. The only difference is these X factors. You're able to either go one step ahead or shut down. Are they great X factors? No, they're really not the best X factors, but they're at least X factors that some of these other cards simply cannot get. So with that being said, DRC, we're going to put him up here in front of Trayvon Diggs, just kind of that X factor difference. Mel Blount still a stud, by the way. The card makes 98 base speed with pretty decent abilities and things like that for man-to-man, obviously. No real zone abilities, crazy height, can tackle, can really just do it all. That's why Mel Blount is still up there at S tier. His card is still crazy, and if you have a Super Bowl team and you play man, Mel Blount is a stud. You know that. And next up, we have a card that people might feel like I have either ranked too high or too low. I think I'm going to put him in the right spot, but people will probably say he's either too high or too low. I have a hard time with these 32 team chem players because everybody's able to add speed to them pretty much. So I really don't, it kind of puts me in a tough spot. Do I rank them without the speed boost or with the speed boost? You know what I mean? Like, it's tough to do. I usually just do without it, honestly. But yeah, 97 speed, good acceleration, good awareness, can play man, can play zone. 99 press is crazy. Not the best against the run, which is definitely an issue, but at least he has clutch on yes. Clutch on yes is kind of an underrated stat. It's just kind of nice to have, especially when you're paying 1.2 million for a card. But acrobat, deep route, flat zone, medium route, pick artist. Now, how does this all stack up? It's not great, right? That's the only problem with this card. I love the stats. I love how Gilmore cards play. I love how they move. He's got a good build. He can play man. He's 6'1", easy 99 speed pretty much on any 50-50 team. But the problem with me is just the ability setup. I wish that deep route was here, medium route was here. If he was able to get deep route, pick artist, that'd be really, really nice. And again, I don't love medium route, deep route. If you want to run it, go for it. Also, acrobat. Like, it works. You definitely get better animations, but a lot of the times it's still kind of like in the old days where you might animate for an acrobat, you dive, you miss, it's a one-play touchdown. That can happen a lot of the time, so you kind of would rather play your KOs. But at least flat zone's nice. But again, like, just not the greatest ability setup here for Stefan Gilmore. That's like the only problem really with the card. I love the card if he had an ability set up like Trayvon Diggs or DRC even got, then he would be a little bit higher, but I think I'm going to leave him somewhere in between these guys. I'll put him, oh man, it's such a tough thing to do. I guess I'll consider him like he's got 98 speed. I'll consider this card like he's got 98 because a lot of people are going to have him with 98 speed, so I'll put him here. If you can't boost Stefan Gilmore, then there's better options in this game than him for 1.2. If you can boost him 99 speed with those decent man abilities, it's obviously pretty nice at 6'1" with those stats. So keep that in mind. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to put Stefan Gilmore lowish, midish S tier. Okay, don't worry, zone users. We have a zone corner here, and that's going to be Charles Woodson. 97 speed, 95 acceleration, 6'1", can play man, can play zone, can press, good hands. Very good against the run as well. Finesse move, very underrated on a cornerback as far as shedding wide receivers and shedding tight ends and things like that. Even 80 block sheds, very, very good. Clutch on yes, of course, we love to see that. We head down here. Here are the abilities. So pick artist, deep out zone. Bang, run those two things with these stats. His ability to stop the run. Charles Woodson is a top end cornerback in this game. I think, well, didn't mean to do that. There we go, let's drag this. I'm gonna put him in front of Mel Blount. I think as a zone guy, ability to stop the run, good size, good speed. That's a guy that deserves to be in front of Mel Blount, who is strictly just kind of a man-to-man kind of guy. Although it is close, I won't lie, it is close. I just don't like this single dimensional Mel Blount. Although he was number one, but last video, I didn't love it. And next up, we got Patrick Surtain. 97 speed, 97 acceleration, 6'2". Good awareness, man, zone, 99 press, decent against the run. He's not Charles Woodson level, but pretty decent. Clutch on no, high motor on yes though, not bad. We head down here, the abilities. I love the abilities on this card. Deep zone for 1, which means if you're putting him in like deep in scenarios, like cover 4 scenarios, whatever the case is, he'll light up, and it's 1 AP. It costs the same as a deep out zone for a lot of guys, as you just saw with Charles Woodson. He also does get pick artist. He also is able to go deep route and pick artist, or you can go deep route and medium route for 1 AP as well, or you could go deep zone. No matter what you're doing, I feel like what puts this card in front of Charles Woodson. Yes, Charles Woodson's better against the run, but I think the versatility of Surtain puts him in front. Being able to, be set up as a deep out zone corner, but also a deep man corner. Also getting pick artists in the opposite slot as well is really, really nice. And he can be whatever you really want him to be, because as you guys saw, you could even go deep out zone with, deep out zone pick artist, or deep out zone, deep zone with short routes, even good too for if you're mixing it up and things like that. So to me, that's what puts Surtain where I'm going to put Surtain over Charles Woodson. I know it's probably debatable, but next up we have the great buy. 300K for Bo Jackson is crazy, but cornerback Bo Jackson, I know people don't like running Bo Jacksons because there's so many of them and it's stupid. I agree, but it is what it is. They're the best cards in the game at their positions pretty much across the board. So Bo Jackson, 98 speed with 96 acceleration, can play man, can play zone, even very good against the run. 97 block shed, 96 hit power, can rush the passer. All the traits are on a cornerback. That is insane. And then we head down here. So here's the thing about Bo Jackson. If you're playing man-to-man, you don't need to run the X Factor because he does get pick artist and deep route KO. Or you can go deep route KO, short route KO. I believe I run that actually on Bo Jackson. Deep route, short route for just 1 AP. It's an amazing man-to-man setup. If you want to play zone, however, if you have an extra X Factor slot, if you run dual threat on Bo Jackson, it pretty much works like reinforcement, or pretty much works like an all zone KO, where no matter what he's near, whether it's a flat or a deep route, or as long as he's there and interacts, he's gonna get that KO. So dual threat basically turns Bo into a zone knockout guy. So Bo can actually do both. It's just easier for him to play man to man. His X Factor is very, very good. So with that being said, I'm putting Bo Jackson in front of Pat Surtain. I know people don't like when I put Bo high up on tier list for whatever reason, but the facts are facts. This card's abilities and X Factors and his ability to kind of do everything puts Bo, at least in my opinion, top 3, at least. Next up, we got the 98 speed, 6'3" Sauce Gardner. Can play man, can play zone. There you go. 97 press. He's not the best against the run. I've definitely noticed that. And then if we head down here, the ability. So the abilities on this card, you can somewhat make him a slot corner, which gives him some decent versatility, but I just love the 1 AP outside shade. I think the 1 AP outside shade with the deep route KO is super nasty in man-to-man coverage. If you're someone that is playing zone, play this guy in the slot, put pick artist on him, or put flat zone, mid zone, whichever you're kind of using. But I think for man-to-man guys, deep route and outside shade for just 2 AP is a crazy setup. You could even go pick artist outside shade, which just gives you that much extra baggy coverage, makes that man-to-man just that much more annoying. And again, I mentioned it kind of with inside shade. Like, I wouldn't pay 3 AP for it, but 1 AP, I'd pay for it. I think that's worth it for an ability that's just very annoying to face and is kind of inconsistent, but when it works, it could cause turnovers, and that's the name of the game, honestly. So, Sauce Gardner, I'm going to put him in front of Pat Surtain. Again, the only problem with the Team of the Year cards is the lack of an X Factor. If they were able to get like Universal X Factor or something like that, it would definitely, a reinforcement, it might raise Sauce and Surtain over guys like Bo, but just dual threat. And it's tough to match or tough to beat out of position cards in MUT because EA just juices them for no reason. It's tough. Like all those traits on Bo, the block shed, the ability to rush the passer, the dual threat X Factor, it's just crazy good. So it's tough to beat these out of position guys, but there actually are 2 guys that are going to do it today. Okay, we now have the brand new Peanut Tillman. In yesterday's AKA drop, kind of a under the radar one, but some very, very good cards came out of yesterday's drop, and Peanut Tillman is really no different. You guys see these stats, right? Slot corner, okay, that's great, doesn't matter. 6'2", 210, 97 speed, over 90 awareness and play rec, of course. Good COD, good agility, can play man, can play zone, good enough hands, like he's almost like an out of position kind of wide receiver situation. And then tackling wise, 98 hit power, pursuit, block shed, impact block with decent pass rush stats, which for a cornerback, like not an out of position, just like a stock cornerback, these stats are really, really good. We head down here. I'm not gonna lie, they missed out on one very thing, something that they could have done that made sense for Charles Tillman, and that's the strip specialist for free. It should have just been pre-baked in my opinion, but no discount in strip specialist. It doesn't even get strip specialist, but very good abilities like pick artist or deep out zone. Then even here for the X Factors, he's able to get universal coverage, AKA, which turns on, comes back, basically gives you KOs in all instances, which is very, very good. So and realistically, you can really just run pick artist and like mid zone or flat zone, play him in the slot with universal, and just play him like wherever you want once that ability's kind of on. So you can build this card for basically 0 AP if you wanted to, and just have amazing tackling stats, amazing size, amazing speed, the ability to play man and zone. So with that being said, we're going to put Charles Tillman up there in front of Bo Jackson. It might be debated, I won't lie, but to be honest, I'm getting Bo fatigue. I don't know if that's, I don't know, it's kind of like the MVP voters fatigue that happens in multiple leagues across the world. So I don't know. I'm putting Charles in front of Bo. And our number one cornerback right now in Madden 24 Ultimate Team is Tariq Wen. Simple as that. 94 speed, or sorry, wait a second. I flipped the 9. Look what I just did here. So what happened was, this is how my brain works. A little special, you know what I mean? I flipped the 6 and said 94 speed for some reason. But I was supposed to be reading the height. Anyway, 6'4", 98 speed, 96 acceleration, can play man, can play zone, even a pretty good tackling stats for a Tariq Wen. You know what I mean? 87 hit power. No traits on yes, but it's the size, it's the man, and the abilities on this card, pretty damn good. He gets universal as well, and reinforcement for 0 is actually the one you should be using, because it makes him better against the run, and it gives him KOs in man, in zone, doesn't matter. It's crazy. And again, you can build it for pretty much free if you want. Just go pick artist with reinforcement, and you'd be fine. But he also does get deep zone for 1 as well. So just the flexibility of this card with the X factors. Any 6'4", can play man, can play zone, 98 speed. It's nutty. It's unfair. Tariq Wen is your number one cornerback in the game right now without question. You match the size with the stats and the abilities. It's just too good. So our top 5 cornerbacks right now in Madden 24. Number 1, Tariq Wen. Number 2, Charles Peanut Tillman. Number 3, Bo Jackson. Number 4, Sauce Gardner. And number 5, Pat Surtain. A brand new top 5. Hopefully you guys did enjoy today's video. Come through Twitch live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. And as always, I will see you boys in the next one.